Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? I have another book haul for you today because my book collection is never complete. That went weird places, but it's fine. Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I have a book haul for you guys. So today's video does feature a paid promotion from Disney Book Group in honor of the recent release of A Part of Your World by Liz Braswell. So I feel like this might explain the Little Mermaid vibes from this video. I felt like this outfit kind of fit as well. It was kind of Ariel-esque, tropical, you know, all that jazz. But this is the next installment in the Twisted Tales series, which is a series of young adult novels that takes Disney movies and reimagines them, which is so cool. You know I'm waiting for them to do Alice. I've really been wanting to try this series out, so I'm so excited to try out the Little Mermaid one, since The Little Mermaid was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. I love Ariel. She's one of my favorite Disney princesses, so I think this is going to be awesome. But this story has a very interesting jumping off point, and that is, what if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? So Ursula is ruling on land, meanwhile Ariel is a voiceless queen under the sea. Under the sea, do-do-do-do. Under the sea, do-do-do-do. I'm sorry, I couldn't help the dance break there. So Ariel's father, King Triton, has been killed by Ursula, and Ursula is ruling, so Ariel feels really hopeless until she gets a glimmer of hope in the form of the fact that her father might be still alive. So she finds herself revisiting somewhere where she never thought she would return and seeing a prince that she thought she would never see again. Ooh, swooning already. Like I said, I am so excited for this book. I love The Little Mermaid, and I'm very interested to see the what ifs and how they are explored in this story. So this book came out on September 4th, like I said, so I will leave a link down below for you guys to go and check it out. The next book in this haul is actually another one that I received from Disney, and that is The Darkest Legacy by Alexandra Bracken. This book actually came out like a month ago now, but this is the Walmart exclusive edition, which is signed, which is so exciting. I was very happy to see that, and in the back of it, it includes an annotated chapter, which is so cool, so I was very excited to receive this. But like I said, if you do go to Walmart, I'm not sure if it's just Walmarts in the States, I haven't actually checked my own local Walmart, but you can go and check and see if it is available for you. But this is the latest installment in the Darkest Minds universe, and this follows Zoo, and she is now 17 years old. She is not a baby anymore, oh my goodness, but she has become a spokesperson for the interim government, and specifically for Psy kids. I thought it was PSI, but then someone said Psy, and now I think it's Psy. Basically the kids who have the powers and were put into camps in the previous books, but those camps have now been dissolved and this interim government is in place, and Zoo is a spokesperson for those kids. So everything is going pretty well for Zoo until she is accused of committing a ghastly crime, and she has to go on the run to try and clear her name. I'm very anxious for my reading slump to be over to read this book. I am so excited to revisit the Darkest Minds world again. It was one of my favorite series when I first read it, so I can't wait to see what is next. I also received this really cool coil-bound copy of the book. It's just a manuscript kind of arc thing. It's just very interesting. I've never had an arc like this, so I was really excited to receive it. I unfortunately didn't get the chance to read it because now it is out, obviously, but it is still a very cool keepsake to have. The next book I received from Amulet, and that is Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soria. This is set in a world that is governed by prophecies, and it follows the main character, who is the orphan daughter of rebels, as her and her friends try to uncover the mystery of the final prophecy of their land. It sounds like a very interesting concept for a story. Destiny Soria is the author of Ironcast, which I own, but I haven't gotten the chance to read yet, and I am very anxious to read it. I've heard some really good things, and this just sounds very unique, so I'm interested to see how it is. And this is coming out on October 9th. Next is Home and Away by Candice Montgomery. This was sent to me by Page Street Publishing, and it follows a girl who is self-described as young, black, and fabulous, which is amazing. But she is in her senior year, and she seems to have everything. Everything is figured out, everything is picture perfect, but of course we all know that is not where the story is gonna go. So things seem to be perfect until she finds her mother hiding a mysterious box in the closet, and that ends up unraveling a series of events that lead her to question her identity and who she really is, which is basically the same thing. That was redundant, but whatever. This is coming out on October 16th, and I'm interested to see what the whole mystery plot is surrounding this story and like what she doesn't know, what her mother was hiding from her. I have some guesses and ideas, but I definitely want to read it to find out out what it actually is. Next, from Raincoast Publishing, I received Black Wings Beating by Alex London. This is a book that is set in a world where birds are revered, and the people who are taking care of birds, and not really taking care of them, I guess, but like the people who have command over birds, they are known as falconers, and they are also very special people. This book follows twins, and the one has the gift and really doesn't want to. She renounces it, and the other one would really like to have that gift. And the sister, who has been trying to free herself of her gift of being a falconer, finally is almost free when a war hits their town, and obviously chaos ensues after that. I've heard some really good things about this book, and the synopsis is weird. I don't really know about the whole bird thing. I feel like it has the potential to be interesting or has the potential to not be interesting. I don't know. I'm just very intrigued to see how it's going to go. And this is coming out on September 25th, so it's a little bit less of a wait. Next, I have My So-Called Bollywood Life by Nisha Sharma. I was actually sent this by the author, so thank you so much to them for sending this to me. So this book follows Winnie, and Winnie has just caught her boyfriend cheating, and to top it all off, he has also won the spot that she wanted as chairperson on the Student Film Festival Council. So obviously not everything is going according to plan for Winnie, and she is just trying to get her life back on track to that Bollywood happy ending that she really wants. I feel like this is just going to be a really fun novel, but it also seems like it might pack a little bit more of a punch to it, so I'm very excited for it. And this book is already out, so you guys can go and check it out. Next, I have a few exciting books that were sent to me by Hatchet Book Group. I got a couple from my BEA novel box, and then just a couple that I had requested. So in the end, I did end up getting all of the arcs that I had wanted at Book Expo, so that is very exciting. So the first book from Hatchet is one that I did not expect to be getting, but I'm so excited to have it, and that is The Wicked King by Holly Black. Oh my god! This is coming out on January 8th, and it is the much anticipated sequel to The Cruel Prince, which took the booktube world by storm when it came out, and I can't wait to read it. I feel like it is going to be so good, build on all of the twists and turns that happened in the last book, and I am very, very excited for it, obviously. The next book that they sent me is The Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason by Virginia Boecker, which just sounds like an amazing, amazing book. I was honestly hooked when I read on the back, Philippa Gregory meets Mr. and Mrs. Smith in this witty and thrilling action-adventure novel of star-crossed assassins in Elizabethan England. There are just so many little nods to Shakespeare in here, and it's such a nerdy dream for me, so I am so excited to read this. I think it's going to be lots of fun, and I cannot wait. And this is coming out on October 23rd. Next, I have Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich. This is a recreation or novelization of the hit Broadway show, and I am very excited to read it. I do want to listen to the soundtrack for the Broadway show first, because I don't really have any knowledge of it. Like, I know vaguely what it's about, but not really. I just haven't gotten around to listening to the soundtrack yet, so wanting to read this book is even more motivation to do that. I know that people have been going wild for it, so I'm very excited to see if I will like it as much as everyone else seems to. And this is coming out on October 9th. Next is The War Outside by Monica Hesse. This is the author of one of my favorite historical fictions, The Girl in the Blue Coat, and that was a novel that was really important and personal to me because it was set in Amsterdam during World War II, so I could thank a lot of my ancestors, and not even that far off ancestors, like my grandmother and what she went through when she was living there during the war. And Monica Hesse is actually a journalist, and you can tell that really comes through with her writing because it is very well done. And I think this novel is going to be a really difficult read, but a very important one at the same time. So it deals with two characters, one of German descent and one of Japanese descent, and both of them have been uprooted from their homes in the United States to be brought to an internment camp. This definitely isn't going to be an easy read, but like I said, it will be an important and educational one, and I am looking forward to learning more about this really important time in history that I want to educate myself more on. And this is coming out on September 25th. The last book that I got from Hatchet is Rule by Ellen Goodlet, which is described as King Lear meets Pretty Little Liars meets Three Dark Crowns, which is such a weird combo, so like obviously I'm on board with that. So it follows three girls who have found out that they are the illegitimate children of the dying king, and they have to compete to figure out who is going to be his heir. So I'm excited to see how things unfold. I'm expecting a pretty dark and brutal fantasy, and hopefully that's what I'll get. But this is coming out on September 11th. Next is a book that I received from HarperCollins, which I was so excited about, and that is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I cannot wait to read this book. I think it is going to be so good. It is like the dynamite duo of contemporary, and oh, I can't wait. The two main characters of this seem to be pretty opposing forces that are brought together in a meet cute scenario, and then there are things that bring them apart and then bring them together again. And it's just like, will they actually end up together? Will they not? I don't know what's happening. And paired with the emotion of both of these authors and their writing styles, I feel like it's just going to be amazing, especially because they are great friends. I just can't wait to read this. Next, I have a few books that I received from Penguin Teen. So the first one is Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis. Beth Revis is the author of the Across the Universe trilogy, which was a sci-fi trilogy, and this sounds like it's going to be more of a fantasy, kind of sci-fi fantasy blend, but it's about a girl who is a scholarship student at basically a medical school, but they learn alchemy there, and just as this girl is starting to understand alchemy and really get into it, a plague hits their world and she is forced to explore different methods to help people heal, such as necromancy, which is obviously a very forbidden part of alchemy. This once again sounds like a really dark sort of fantasy story, and that's definitely what I am looking for recently. I mean, the reading slump has been real, but Halloween is coming up, and really the only part of Halloween that I actually celebrate, because I don't really like Halloween, I know, unpopular opinion, but I do really like to read creepy, dark, mysterious reads around that time, so this sounds like the perfect read. And this is coming out on September 25th. Next is Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. So this follows the main character, Darius, obviously, as he ventures back to the land of his ancestors, Iran, to meet his ailing grandmother. Now, he's never been there before, and he doesn't really feel like he fits in America, but he also doesn't really feel like he'll fit in Iran. He's a really geeky kid, and he's never had many friends. He's suffering from clinical depression, and he just has a lot of struggles going on in his life. But luckily, he is able to meet a boy out in Iran that really understands him, and they are able to build a bond. But the struggle there is the fact that there is a time limit on that, because Darius is going to be going back to America. This book is actually already out, but I have had the arc for a little while now. I'm not exactly sure when I got it, but I'm really excited to see more of the Iranian culture in this novel and learn more about Darius and see how this relationship blossoms. Next is A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. I was so excited when I got this because this is the next book to the Miss Peregrine series, and I just can't wait to read it. So in this book, we are returning back to where it all started for Jake, which is in Florida, and this time things are a little bit different because the Peculiars have followed him there and they are trying to blend in with him, which just sounds like a recipe for disaster, to be honest. But they end up navigating the scene of American Peculiardom, which is very different because it's not as structured. There's not as many rules because it is more of a fledgling community. This time around, we do have portraits once again scattered throughout the story, but they are going to be in full color, which is so interesting. I'm very excited for it. There we go. That's creepy. But I can't wait to see what is next for these characters. I'm so excited to see the Peculiars again and visit the Peculiar world. And this is coming out on October 2nd. I also did a video featuring this book, which I thought was lots of fun, so I will link that down below for you guys. Next is Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. This is another book about lady pirates. I feel like there have been so many books about lady pirates and stuff like that this year. I don't know what it is, but like, I'm on board with it. Unintentional pirate pun that I made in another video, but it still just rolls off the tongue. But the main character of this novel's family has been killed by a warlord, and she ends up gathering a team of girls who have all suffered the same fate as her, and by that I mean their families have been killed by the same warlord. So they sail the seas with the mission of killing this warlord, and they are faced with a decision when one of their own is rescued by a boy. So they're like, do we let this boy in our crew? Do we not? What? Like I said, I love lady pirates, so I'm very excited for this book. Plus, I think the dilemma of like, do we let this boy who has helped us onto our crew or not sounds interesting. Next is a book I was sent by Thomas Allen & Son, and that is Game of Secrets by Kim Foster. This is set in Victorian England, where there are these people who are tainted. So they have special abilities that no one else likes, and they are kind of hunted for it. So the main character's brother is tainted, and she soon finds out that she is also tainted, and she is set to be executed, but on the night of her execution, she is actually taken to a school that the tainted people go to, where they are trained to service and protect Queen Victoria herself. I just love Victorian set novels, and this sounds like it's going to be kind of dark and interesting, and I love like different schools and novels too, so this could be really cool and a good Halloween-y read. Next, I have a few books that I got in different subscription boxes. So the first one is My Plain Jane by the Lady Janies. This came in the Owl Crate, and I was so excited for it. I had already read it in January because I got an ARC, and I was like so happy to get an ARC because I love this series so much. So the first book was more of historical fiction, and this one's historical fiction too, but it is a retelling of Jane Eyre, and it just pokes fun at Jane Eyre, but also pays homage to it at the same time, and it's kind of like if Ghostbusters and Jane Eyre had had a baby, this would be it. So it's amazing, it's funny, it's everything that I wanted it to be and more, and I'm so excited to have a finished copy of it. Next is From Twinkle with Love by Sandhya Menon. This is the same author as When Dimple Met Rishi, which I have to admit I have read this and I enjoyed Dimple a little bit more than this one. Twinkle is an unlikable character, so if you can't get on board with unlikable characters, then this might not be the book for you. But overall, I did still enjoy it. She writes really fun and cute contemporaries, and this one was no different. I love the fact that it was told in letters to her favorite filmmakers. That was a really interesting touch, and this isn't a wrap-up. I'll talk about it more in my wrap-up, which might actually already be up, so if it is, I will link it down below. Next is Grayson Fury by Tracy Banghart. This is set in a world where women don't have any rights, and it follows two sisters. The one is very rebellious, and the other one is a Grace. So she is trained to sit by the throne as the picture of the perfect woman. I literally, like, I cringe every time I say it. I'm interested to see where that plot is going to go, how the dichotomy between the two sisters is going to work, and if I'll like it. It gives me Handmaid's Tale vibes, so I don't know, we'll see. And the last few books are from recent Fairy Loot. So first I have Heart of Thorns by Bree Barton. I love the colored edges that Fairy Loot has been doing recently. It is such a nice touch, like the red. But this follows a girl who has spent her whole life trying to hunt the beings that killed her mother when she finds out that she might actually have the powers of those beings. I've heard some really good things about this. I am a little bit skeptical because I feel like it kind of has this setup of some typical fantasies that I've read before, so hopefully it will put a spin on that. Next is Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. This is actually a book that I'm going to be unhauling because I tried listening to the audiobook and I just couldn't really get into it, and I don't know that I really am interested enough to want to commit to it. So it sounds like a very fascinating concept. Like the girl can talk to animals, I think, or she can influence the minds of animals. Like I don't even remember what happened, but like the black edges, it's a really pretty book. I had wanted to keep it, but ultimately I feel like someone else might enjoy it a little bit more, but I did give it a go. I'm just sad it didn't work out for me. And the final book is These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rosh. Once again, a lady pirate book. This one also has green edges, which is so cool. I feel like you mostly get red or black edges, so it's cool to have green. But Sarah Rosh is the author of Snow Like Ashes, which I really enjoyed, and I'm excited to see what her latest novel is all about. So those are all of the books for this book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much to Disney Book Group for sponsoring this video. Once again, don't forget to check out Part of Your World by Liz Braswell, which is in stores now. But if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and links and all of that stuff will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!